Hello, gorgeous. Today I want to talk about how is the riverbed and the river different than how things were done 100 years ago, 50 years ago. So when we had more traditional roles and there was a very specific path based off of gender, this did not include each individual person's strengths. So for example, there may have been relationships and couples where the woman's natural strength was more on the logical side, even finance, understanding finance well, and that may not have been her husband's strength. But because of the set traditional roles, that was kind of a predetermined path, so to speak. And sometimes that's not the best way for couples to be using their strengths. So how is this different? The main thing I want to talk about today that I personally feel the riverbed and the river movement have done and created is that many of us women who have learned how to be the riverbed and have developed skills and built up, finances and being able to take care of our food, shelter, water, clothing. In this process, women have started to learn how to take care of their basic needs. So previously, before, when we were expected just to go and be in the river role, but we hadn't learned any of the just kind of general skills of how to be a riverbed. This could sometimes cause a little bit more chaotic. Maybe not feeling as secure because we feel like we need and are reliant on the masculine riverbed. And so because of this need, it was more from a scarcity place, meaning I personally don't have this myself, so I am dependent on another human being to provide this for me, versus if I need to, I can provide this for myself. How this has shifted, at least me, is learning and operating and functioning as a riverbed and creating those skills. I have now, at a general level, learned how to take care of my needs. I'm no longer helpless. I don't feel helpless. I'm no longer dependent. I don't feel dependent. I feel independent. So because now I can be in a place where I feel more secure and I can take care of my needs, now that I know I can do that, this is now where I can shift over to what are my wants. Because ladies, if our needs are not taken care of, I found it's very difficult to figure out what you want if you don't have what you need, right? At a basic level, like if you need sleep, if you need shelter, if you need food, if you need water, if you need health insurance, if you need resources. If you don't have these basic needs, I found it's almost impossible to even explore what I want because my brain is too busy focused on what needs to be done versus now getting to shift into, okay, what would I like to do? And so when we think of relationships now, how has the riverbed and the river changed? So for those of us who have been the riverbed, we've, been through our building phase, we've gotten to a certain point, different things may have happened. We may have had a child that has shifted our life. We may have run into health issues. A lot of times these are the common signals that happen where we can no longer, or it becomes very difficult to still operate at that performance level that we were previously. And so now we are choosing at this point of our lives to start to learn about the river, how to be the river, how to access the river side of us, how to access the flow, the nourishment, the space. And so, sorry, I have a message here. And so how does can this shift in a relationship? So now instead of coming from a place of I need you, now we've been able to take care of most of our needs and we know we can do it. Now we shift into the river and the flow, and now we're able to ask the questions, what do I want? What do I desire? And one thing I found through learning about the riverbed and the river flow and the differences in what each one brings to the table, I have learned that I now would like to be more in the river space and hold more of the river space in my relationship. And so what does this mean? This means now that I can look at the riverbed and the qualities of the riverbed and what the riverbed offers and provides. And this is not, I need a man so that I can live. This is, now that I know I can live, I desire a man that desires to want to provide for his woman or his life partner. I desire a man who desires to be a protector. I just wanted to hone in on this because, again, many of the things that, at least the journey of that I experienced, I've been learning in layers. It's very challenging to try to absorb all of this information at once because we're no longer just looking at information and knowledge, but we are also dropping down into embodying it, putting it into practice, right? Not just knowing, but practicing and being. So I feel like this is a very important distinction, and especially for any of us who are currently in the riverbed mode. Maybe we are on our own right now, and so being the riverbed is very important. Maybe we are early on in our relationship and we may be noticing that our life partner also seems to be a riverbed and I am a riverbed. And how's that going to work? And this whole shift of idea, and I go back to choice, right? This movement, I feel like, has opened up more choice for us as women and more choice for us who are, if we have the opportunity, be more in the river space in our relationship. So we go from needing a life partner to desiring a life partner. And that is very, very different. And I think this is also where sometimes we can come from a wounded place. If we are feeling like we are dependent on somebody, a lot of times we don't always use our voice. We don't always speak up because we feel like we don't want to rock the boat, right? Because we're dependent on that person. But when you have gone through being the riverbed and now you are able to start learning and accessing about the river, this is where it changes the game. because now you're no longer dependent on someone else and you come from a very different place. And a lot of times, if you go through these practices that I talk about, and I have some in online courses as well, this is where you can start to come from a more healed place. You are a whole person and they are a whole person. You have everything you need, and what your life partner has is complementary to what your strengths are and what your natural essence is. And so I think that this is one of the beautiful things that the riverbed and river movement is now providing for us. And I think it's a gift to us as women. And I'll be bold and throw it out there. Ultimately, I feel like it is a gift to our life partner, to the men in our life. Because if we are more whole and complete, we're not seeking things from other people. We can show up and provide that nourishment. We can show up and provide that calming flow experience and being relaxed. And so personally, I am still on this journey. I am still learning things. I have not figured everything out. But what I have learned, I am sharing here on this channel because I feel so grateful that I had certain things in my life that woke me up, that made me stop in my tracks, whether it was something with my health. I actually am grateful and thank these signals, because I feel like if I would have continued in my masculine, and if I would have continued as the riverbed operating at 100%, I feel like I personally, as a woman, would have missed out. I also feel like I would have missed out also in my relationship. I will tell you, it feels so good not to necessarily need my husband, but to desire my husband and my life partner, to recognize what I bring to the table and that it's of value, and recognize what he brings to the table and honor and value that as well. And it's definitely changed our relationship. It's changed our dynamic. Are we perfect? No, no relationship is absolutely perfect, but we're definitely at a different level than I have ever experienced with another human being. And so I am so grateful for this work. I am so grateful to have come across these concepts because they've changed my life. They've changed my life. They've changed my relationship. They've changed my relationship with my child and my stepsons. They've changed my life with my friends. And they've changed my life as far as my health goes. And yeah, it's just been beautiful. So I wanted to share with you that today. Definitely just wanting to hone in on what my experience has been. Shifting from, operating and learning the skills of the riverbed, but then starting to learn how to access the river, and shifting from that space of needing someone to desiring someone. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.